Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies. I am very happy to be here today, but I digress. Before we get into all the intros, in case you're a first-time listener, but we know you're probably not anyway, but podcast, stale popcorn, watered down sodas, all of our favorite movies and why we love them. Even if one of us may not be sharing warm, fuzzy feelings for this movie, but we will get into that later. I am joined by the bearded Amanda Kohlhofer. Oh, wait, it's not Amanda Kohlhofer. It is Chance Strife is back with us.
Hi.
Hi, Chance. So yeah, Amanda was supposed to be here with us today, but
Get better.
we put a hex on her on the anniversary episode, and she's still suffering the ill effects from that. Even to the effect that she had surgery, what, Tuesday?
Yeah, it was earlier. Yeah, it was sometime this week. Yeah.
And has been in bed the whole freaking week, and even got her hand caught between the freaking wheelchair and the wall yesterday and tried to break it as well. But not to share too much details, but her medicated stomach was not feeling up to it, so she will not be joining us this episode. But I have her review that we will gladly share with everybody when we get to that point in the show. But anyway, welcome back, Chance. It feels like it's
What's
been
up?
a week since we've done this.
Right?
I mean, talked about a great movie last week.
Fuck yeah, we did.
Did pretty good numbers. My homeboy that freaking requested it is incredibly happy. Actually,
Good.
finally got around to listening to it last night while I was at work.
Good. I'm glad. That's what mattered to me the most.
Yeah, and he has already presented me with a list of requests that he wants as well, because evidently we need to do Spider-Man, we need to do all this other stuff. So
Okay. I'll do it. I'm down. What if?
I'm not complaining. I mean, the fact that we're rapidly approaching the 4th anniversary and still haven't touched one of the Spider-Man movies yet.
That just goes to show what's out there, though. I mean,
you don't think about it until you actually go to sit down and actually schedule out a podcast like this. But
right?
there's a lot of freaking movies out there to try and freaking
For sure.
Because
especially if you're if you're having somebody else pick it, then you may not even think about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of sort of why we came up with the rule that if you request it, we'll put it on the schedule.
Right.
Because, I mean, we we being obviously myself, Amanda, you're always on the show as well. Anybody else who comes on the show is welcome to request anything they want, and we'll put it on the schedule. And we all love movies significantly, but yeah, when the listeners get to put in their requests and make stuff happen on the schedule, it makes it that much more meaningful. Because then it's like they're we're talking about the stuff they actually want to. Oh, son of a bitch.
See, you fucking went to the fucking well one too many times, sir. If it's the series that you're fearing that it might be, then I might have to come up with a call in and dead kind of scenario. Like, I can't come in today, boss. I'm fucking dead. I got the black lung, Paul.
For those of you who don't know what this joke right here is about, you should have watched the Blade episode last week. I went to the well one too many times and took cheap shots at one of our dozens. And
You said.
I did one too many fucking times.
Aha.
The major aha.
You got.
I'm now literally waiting for my notification on my Facebook tab to pop up.
Bloop.
Brandy Flaherty has posted in the Facebook group, and then you open it, it's like, bam. I'm not saying no. No, not gonna do it. No.
Oh, you can't. You said.
It's out there enough.
I may not be a part of it, but I'm gonna make sure you get there. Oh, she been quiet long enough.
Oh shit. The little one in parentheses just popped up on my Facebook tab. Do we want to rip the Band-Aid off the wound live on air?
I mean, that's your call. That's your call. However you wanna digest your pain, sir.
Oh sweet, thank God it's not yet.
She's got you there, man.
I know. Ironically, you kept telling me you might want to quit poking the freaking sleeping bear.
Well, I mean, I try. Unless it was her you're talking about. I probably mentioned it.
Straight up talking about you, because literally like yesterday or last week, if you keep putting it out there, it's gonna manifest itself. And I kept making that freaking joke and poking the freaking sleeping bear, and it's only a fun game to poke the sleeping bear when you're poking Hopalong Cassidy. I mean Amanda. But all joking aside, I might want to turn to the correct page of my notes because I actually have more notes than I thought I was going to have for this. But
I didn't even take notes this time. I was like, this is gonna be fresh. I got this.
Well, there's going to be some stuff that we're going to talk about that, might be a little bit surprising.
Fair enough. I'm ready for it.
For those of you who don't know, 1984 was a great, great year for movies, classic movies, even to the extent that last month, yes, it was last month now, Amanda and I discussed Ghostbusters on its 40th anniversary, as well. On December 5th of this year, another classic comedy will be turning 40 years old as well. And we're going to be discussing the long anticipated sequel that should have been made 30 years ago of it. But so 40 years ago in December, Beverly Hills Cop was released. We've already discussed Beverly Hills Cop a couple of times. So I figured why the hell not with Axel F coming out on July 3rd? Why not just graduate to that and share our thoughts and opinions on Beverly Hills Cop Part 4? So, before I progress any further into the background information, though, I do want to say this. If you are a hardcore fan enough and don't want to have the movie spoiled for you and you haven't seen the movie yet, this is the time to hit the pause and come back at a later date. Always come back at a later date because um, I feel like Chance and I are going to deliver an amazing episode. But if you don't want to have the movie spoiled, now is the time to cut ties until you go watch the movie because spoilers all over the freaking place.
Oh yes, spoilers abound.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it is a buddy cop movie. So can it really honestly be that spoiled? I mean, I feel
I
like
s-
there's a certain formula that these movies all follow.
yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying there. It's just, some of them at least attempt to obfuscate their following of that cookie cutter layout.
Those are pretty big words, Chance.
Yeah, I know. I woke up too early.
As it's literally like almost noon in the great state of Children of the Corn.
That's not our state. That's the state next door. That's in Nebraska. That's not Iowa.
Well,
This is Field of Dreams country, sir. Now, if you want to get weird, it's the Crazies. The Crazies was shot here, but the remake was anyway. But anyway,
well, I mean, there's all kinds of fucking crazies around the great state of Iowa. I mean,
they
you
really
got
are.
the corn to the south. You've got Ed Gein to the north, northeast,
Northeast.
whatever direction. Geography's hard for me. Oh yeah, I guess it would be northeast because directly north would be like
Minnesota.
Kevin Stoner land.
Wait, I thought Wisconsin was Stonerland.
Oh, is it?
Is he from Minnesota originally?
Oh wait, you're right. It is. I don't fucking know. Not that we don't love you, Kev, because we do. But um, so before we get into the discussion and um, Chance of Gripe either loving on repeatedly or eviscerating my movie choice, I feel like him taking the glasses off and rubbing the eyes is almost like, you know, him revving the engine because
Yeah, let me get a stretch in.
he's getting his stretch on people.
Gotta limber up.
So, really quickly though, obviously, like I said, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F released on July 3rd, 2024. So it's not, well, I guess as of the day this episode is releasing, it's a week old. It
Yeah.
was directed by Mark Malloy, was released by a little company by the name of the Netflix. It had $150 million budget, and I feel like most of that money went to Eddie Murphy's wallet and some of the action sequences in that movie. Because even at the end of the day, there was some pretty freaking spectacular freaking action in that movie, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, I'll concede to that point for sure.
So yeah, $150 million. If again, if you haven't watched it yet and still need to see it, the only place you can find it is obviously on the Netflix. And it's time to play everybody's favorite game. Aha! Are you ready, Chancey Gripe?
I mean, as ready as I'm gonna be. I didn't even know if we were gonna do this, considering. I mean, I don't even. I figured that they probably would wait to put that out, but I guess that there's probably a
Oh no! Literally
updated.
by 2 o'clock that morning, after I was done watching the movie when it first released, they
Yeah,
already had Rotten Tomato scores out.
my guess, since I have no fucking idea whatsoever, is gonna be
Mind
52%.
mind you, I have both of them too. So
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm going 52%.
for the tomato meter,
Yeah, whichever. Whichever
that
one's closer to 52. I don't know. Probably
uh,
none of them.
that would be the tomato meter, and even then,
Woo!
you're still not fucking close.
Wait, which direction?
You are
I'm on the way
way
down.
low.
Yeah. Hey
You're way
man,
low.
I can't help all these motherfuckers, huffing on the copium. That ain't on me.
So the on 132 critic scores in less than a week,
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 65%.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, I was fairly close.
Yeah, you're right at that window where you're close, but
I'm not egregiously incorrect.
you're also venturing outside of that ballpark of being close,
Oh, for sure, for
where
sure.
you're starting to get out into left field now.
Well,
So,
I'm
would you
still,
like?
I think they're on the copium. That's just me though.
I would like to see what you think the differential between the critic score and the audience score is, though.
Oh, I don't know. I'm guessing it's gonna probably be.
The audience score is not bigger than what the original movie's Rotten Tomatoes.
Really? So it's not bigger than the tomato meter?
No, it's not bigger than what Part One's Rotten
Oh,
Tomato.
of course it's not, but I don't even remember what that was. Yeah, I got nothing on this one, man. What's the audience guess on this?
So 40 years ago, Beverly Hills Cop got an 80. Well, not 40 years ago, obviously, because they didn't have Rotten Tomatoes back then. But Rotten Tomatoes got an 80, or gave it the original an 83%.
80 fucking okay for the original. Okay, what's this one got?
80%.
Jesus tap dancing Christ. Not only are they huffing copium, they're literally just fucking tickling their member berries. Like, what the fuck, man?
So, spoiler alert, obviously, you can tell now that Chancey is not going to have a very favorable thoughts on this movie.
I'm on the tail side of this coin. I'm paranoid. I mean, that's fine. I'll take that position, and I stand by it. I will
So,
preface any shit talking that I ultimately do throughout the rest of the show with saying that you are right. Like, there are things that were really good about the movie.
there is. And, oh, shit. Pause to the cause. Randy just asked a question in the group.
Real reggae.
Only because I can. Dot, 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 dot. Oh, fuck, it's going on the schedule.
You did this to yourself, sir.
I did. And at least it's the one that I can probably stomach the most of the 4, 5 movies, 5, however many fucking,
I only
whatever
thought there was
number
like
it is.
I only thought it was like 3 or 4.
That one, the werewolf one with the naked boys in the woods. That one, then the part 1 and part, yeah, so 5 movies. The fact that I know how many movies. So at some point
Well,
in the future, Twilight will be going on the schedule.
why don't we find out from Brandy? Why don't you tell her which one you like the least, and then she can probably avoid that one.
Because she
No,
won't.
you learned your lesson. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, yes, yes. She requested Twilight. It's going to be Twilight.
See, Brandy, now's where you follow up with the sequels. All right, you get him through the first one, and then it's like, oh, I want to do the second one, and then, oh
Motherfucker. Don't encourage her. She will poke the sleeping fucking bear too.
no! Hey, man, she can
So,
get me too. She could get me too. That's fine. I mean,
well, I
that's all
mean,
right.
at the end of the day, if I have to reel you in, you'll have fun with it.
I will actually have fun with it. I will be the horrendous comic relief of the entire episode.
And, there's a reason why I finger quote, because you and I have discussed this numerous times off air, and I won't do it and say it live. But if there's
Fair.
a question in the back of your mind, as soon as we go off air, you can ask me and I'll clarify.
Okay.
So, with all of that said, do you have anything that you would like to um, intro this movie with?
Aside from the fact that I think they should have called it, either Axel FFS or FFS Axel, because for fuck's sake, man, for fuck's sake, is that good? Is that a good preamble?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion,
I was gonna say you might want to
and
give your opinion and have and that way you can build up, say the good things you have to say, and then I'll like agree to the good points that I agree with, and then like I'll kind of make my point as the devil's advocate here. I can't hear you, bro. Oh shit. I was like, I was like, I wasn't paying attention for a second, and I was like, I hope he's not talking. And I turned back, and you're talking. And I was like, oh no, oh no, no, oh no,
uh-huh.
no, 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 no.
So, for those of you who know, we here at An Evening at the Movies are not huge fans of the remake craze that is Hollywood right now, or movies that should have been sequelized 30 or 40 years ago and are just now getting around to being sequelized. With all of that said, um, I would personally, for me, I was very nervous going into this movie because I have such a fondness in my heart for the original. I feel like it's one of the greatest comedies of all time, if not one of my all-time favorite movies of all time. Um, Knowing what was done to the franchise with Beverly Hills Cop 3. I had zero expectations for this movie because at the end of the day, I did not want to be disappointed when they just basically pulled the carpet out from underneath us and gave us the same fucking hot garbage that they gave us when they went to Wonderworld. To me, I was pleasantly surprised. I did not think the movie was as bad as it could have been. Um, it was very much a nostalgia grab, in my opinion. They hit on a lot. I can't necessarily, I mean, like, they brought back a lot of the elements from mainly the first movie, but even a little bit of the second movie that made everybody fall in love with those movies. And at the end of the day, they even took a fucking cheap shot at part 3 at one point.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, you can't have Beverly Hills Cop without um, the Axel F theme song. But even at the same time, they brought back fucking Neutron Dance. They brought back some of the other instrumental
The heat
pieces
song.
pieces of the soundtrack. They brought back The Heat Is On. They
Isn't that
brought
isn't that
back
Kenny Loggins?
Glenn Fry.
Glenn Fry, thank you.
I actually think it was initially written for Kenny Loggins, though.
Makes sense. It sounds like it's something for his delivery, but still, I was just, I can't talk too much shit about Glenn Fry, but I was gonna roast the fuck out of Kenny Loggins.
I bet you were. They brought back Bob Seger and Shakedown from Beverly Hills Cop 2. Um, as far as like nostalgia goes for me, though, I think the one thing that they brought back that you really get a good glimpse of in the first 5 seconds of the movie is the fact that they ignored its absence in part 2 and part 3. And in part 4, they brought back Axel's crappy blue Chevy Nova.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, now you bring it up.
I mean, 'cause it wasn't like a huge part of the original, but like,
It's those member bears. Do you remember? I
yeah,
remember.
it it's there at the beginning of the movie. It's brought up when he gets to Beverly Hills and he's talking to Miss Jenny Summers, and she's all like, "So what are you driving now? You know, the last time I saw you were driving that crappy blue Chevy Nova." And she's like, "What are you driving now?" And he's all like, "Same crappy blue Chevy Nova."
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's a part of the lore of Beverly Hills Cop in some way, shape, or form. So, the fact that they actually dusted it off and brought it back, hats off to the director and Jerry Bruckheimer for pulling that one out of their ass.
hats off to them for finding a fucking piece of shit Chevy Nova at this point in time.
That ironically looked a lot like the fucking crappy blue Chevy Nova that he drove in the first movie.
Reply to your co-host, sir.
Yes, I did. I literally like ish. Yes, that would be correct. And I'm um I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to you. I've got a couple more things that I feel like I can talk about to defend my movie, but um
Okay, okay. So I don't know. I don't know if it was just me, but I don't know. Was anybody else as fucking furiously pissed how much they edged us with that fucking theme song? Because like they remixed it so you don't get it. Oh, like oh, there's a little bit. Oh, there's a little bit. And then, no. We remixed it so you don't get the full thing. And then at the culminating scene, the most expected point, you're gonna hear this motherfucker come out. It's a fucking. You're like, fuck yeah, we did. How much? What the fuck just happened? Why am I hearing myself? That,
Amanda hated the Heat is on remix.
that and the fucking actual, just like, you know, the stereotypical Beverly Hills Cop theme. Like, it just felt like it was like you get just enough of the theme to kind of keep you there. And then, yeah, like I said, it's like this culminating point, really pivotal scene, and all of a sudden, the triumphant breakthrough of the original theme song, and fucking okay, and it's like fucking come on, guys, like fucking Ray Charles called us back from the grave, said he saw that shit coming. Like, what the fuck? But like for real though, like, so do you want me to just start and go all the way through, or do you want me to actually like let you finish your two positive points?
Two. I mean, so go
Oh, you said
ahead.
you said you had a couple. I was just assuming that you literally meant two. My
Well,
bad.
no, I mean, my general points that I have are like generalities.
Oh, I got you.
So it's not
Got
like
you.
it's not like I'm going to sit here and nitpick each. So the line when Serge said this, no, it,
Hi, I'm gonna do that.
oh,
That'll be me.
I bet you are. So hit arm band aid, rip that shit right the hell off.
Okay, so like,
Quit sucking up to Dre.
it's really not. It's not even. It's not even like that because it was one of those things where the things that I like do not outweigh the things that I did not like about the movie, and the things that I ended up liking about the movie, I fucking hated myself for liking. Having given the previous caveat that there are things in there that are actually pretty good. Like, for one, there are like accomplished actors in this fucking movie. Yet on at least one occasion that I can directly recall right now, it's literally imprinted in my memory. Not only was there trash fucking dialogue fucking exchange, but like you really kind of got a vibe that one of these people in this dialogue exchange was really trying way too hard to be fucking noticed in this emotional scene. And I'll even throw it out. I don't care. It's when Judge Reinhold and Axel Foley are on the phone, and he's all like, "You're my brother." And I'm telling you what, right now, this new age, we got into with these fancy cameras and 4K and all this other bullshit. It's really gonna start trimming the herd. It's gonna start calling the herd when it comes to these fucking actors and actresses and everybody in between who got some fucking work done back when the cameras still sucked a holy fucking bunch and couldn't pick up on all those fucking imperfections that was going on. Now all of a sudden we got this 4K shit, and you look like Mr. and Mrs. fucking Potato Head got into a goddamn car accident and turned themselves into potato salad.
Damn.
That's just one. Okay? another like, and what really pisses me off is that even in that scene, Eddie Murphy's not fucking. He's not even safe from the blast radius on this because it's a back and forth, and the whole time on the back and forth, it's like, you guys can clearly tell you're not talking on the phone to an actual person. You're like, no, you are my friend. Please tell me what is happening in this dialogue. I do not understand the scene. And then cut to another scene, and it's fluent dialogue exchange, like no presence of an attempt of like, I'm clearly acting. This is what I'm doing. It feels like a natural exchange of dialogue. And then all of a sudden, bam, we're in another fucking scene where somebody else gets engaged in an exchange of dialogue, and it feels a very, I don't know if I want to use the word contrived, but it feels very forced. It doesn't feel like a natural, like this right here, you and I having a natural flow of dialogue. But there's, hearkening back to that moment when he's talking on the phone to Axel before Axel calls his daughter or goes out or does any kind of nonsense,
Mm-hmm.
It's, it literally, it's like, I felt so bad because and I can feel Amanda's blood pressure rising all the way up here in Iowa. I love Judge Reinhold too, which is why it hurts me so much to old Yeller his fucking ass on this live stream. But seriously, somebody has to take out old Yeller. And I'll fucking Farmer Fred. Listen, it takes a whole lot of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters, all right?
So,
But
before I let you finish, I need to preface the road you're going down by saying this. There is a comment on the Facebook Live from Amanda. Well, actually two now because she just popped up with another one. But
I'm sorry, Amanda. I am. I apologized in advance.
So the first comment is, "Do not say anything bad about Judge. I will hurt you."
It's too late. I done did it. Don't make me put it. I'll put another. Don't make me put another Sheeny curse on you.
She followed that up with, "Okay, yeah, he's had a lot of work done."
Okay. Concessions. Sheeny curse rescinded.
Pause for the cause. Good morning, Senator. Happy to see you're here watching. And then Amanda followed that up with, "I'm gonna old Yeller your ass."
Please do. That makes you my new best friend.
And I'm lying in bed in pain and puking because of you two fools. No more curses.
No more curses. I rescinded. I rescinded it till you came back and told me you was gonna old Yeller my ass. We'll see how it goes. Though it's all good. We got a long road ahead of us here. But no, like,
really haven't even scratched the surface on where all we can go with this episode.
for real. But like, not trying to make light of it because of the fact that I feel just as strongly about Judge Reinhold. He was my favorite part. Him and Eddie Murphy were my two favorite parts of the Beverly Hills Cop series for the first two movies, because I really did I was like, I avoided the third one as long as humanly possible, but I inevitably did end up watching it. But like, Judge Reinhold was like a staple of that, without Billy Rosewood, it just doesn't have that, especially in the second one when he gets to go all Rambo. Like, I was like, fuck yeah, Billy, fucking get it.
Well, that's like, because there was an evolution of that character from the first movie to
the second one.
movie. I mean,
correct.
In the first movie, you had pure doofus moron Billy Rosewood, who naively freaking takes the freaking shrimp salad sandwich and just starts eating the hell out of it, while Axel is literally running across a busy ass freaking road with a bunch of bananas in his hand and just starts feeding bananas into the tailpipe of their unmarked car.
It
Part of
was
that does
hungry.
technically fall on Taggart too, because they're both sitting there watching the front door of the hotel, and
Right.
neither of the two of them saw Eddie running across the street in his blue jeans and freaking gray zipper hoodie with bananas in his hand. Come on, people.
Right.
Spoiler alert, according to Judge on a couple of different interviews before, it was not supposed to be a banana in the tailpipe. It was supposed to be a potato.
Well, that's the yeah. I was gonna say that's usually the proper prank item. Stuff a
Well,
potato in the tailpipe.
well, you can get proper sealage in the exhaust pipe
Yep.
with a potato, where bananas
Oh
and
shit. Oh shit. She wants in. All right, let's do it.
uh,
I ain't going
eh,
easy because you're sick. I ain't going
eh,
easy because you're sick.
everybody, welcome to Sashimi Curse herself. Hello, co-host.
Hello.
Let's do this. Come on, come with it now.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna stay for the whole thing because yeah, but luckily I'm
No,
not puking. I'm not puking anymore. Just in time to say, Billy Rosewood is the heart of this motherfucking franchise. There is no heart to any of this without Billy. So you be nice to Billy. You be nice to Judge. Even in his old age, he had to have some work done. You know what? He's still out there fighting the man. He's doing the thing.
I am not.
right.
I was actually kissing his ass because I was referencing the evolution of going from doofus to doofy Rambo, less doofus, more Rambo, and we won't talk about the DDOJSIOC Billy Rosewood from Part Three, but then back to the Billy that we got in this movie, which thank God they got rid of everything as much as they could in reference to what
Yeah, and my criticism of the performance that he put out for this one is more so based on not only superficial reasons for like the whole like holy shit, because like I said, if you had work done before the cameras caught up, you could get away with that stuff. But nowadays, like, and it's not just him. There's a lot of other people there, like Kevin Bacon. We haven't reached him yet, and I got a few things to say about
Oh, I
Kevin as
thought he
well.
looked good. I didn't think he looked overworked. I thought
No,
Taggart looked like a vagina,
Taggart looked like someone who's like, I'm not going through this. I'm just going to age like fine milk. And
which is
then
I respect it. Respect.
right, but with Kevin, you could definitely it wasn't nearly as bad as some of the like that. It's just honestly for me, it's that night shot where he's talking to Axel and in that port where you really see it the worst for
Judge
me.
got the great value Botox.
Yeah, he got his work on Wish.
Yeah,
oh offer up.
But
he went to
like
Mexico for his Botox.
right? Yeah, he forgot that it's supposed to not actually be botulism, but just like, refined from botulism. But
Uh-huh.
but no, like when he like that delivery though, when like going back to that car scene where he's talking to Axel and he's in the car and whatnot. It just the whole thing just hit me because it's just like, okay, well, first off, this is that expected delivery you see in like a student film where people are talking on the phone, and it clearly feels forced, and then you add into that whole extra little bit where he's like, you're my brother and all this, it's like okay, Judge, bro,
What
we
are
need
you,
to have a
Steven
sit.
fucking Spielberg? This movie isn't trying to win Oscars. It's just trying to be entertaining and give us some nostalgia. Bring it down a
Listen,
notch.
All it was fan service and copium and nostalgia berries, man. Like the saving graces in this movie were like Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Yeah, he was good.
and he was great. Kevin Bacon to a certain extent, Eddie Murphy to a certain extent, although in that exact same scene, Eddie Murphy's just as guilty as Judge with that weird fucking talking to somebody, not talking to somebody business. Like, I'm a very firm believer that if they're going to do shots like that, they have to have the people on scene so that way you can get an exact gauging of what they're saying so you can contort the tone and, to match. Kind of like how they did with A Few Good Men in the courtroom scene with Jack Nicholson being there, even though he's not on camera. Like,
Wait,
if
what?
that would have. So, okay, we're talking about that scene where he's talking to Axel in the car, and it feels like you can clearly tell that they're talking into a dead phone, not talking to anybody.
No, I got that. But what about A Few Good Men?
Though I was comparing it to the scenario where if they would have done that situation, because, Jack Nicholson was on scene even when he wasn't on camera delivering his lines, so that way they could deliver their lines in accordance to how he was delivering his lines. Yeah. If they would have had either one of those two actors in those places at the times that they were doing those shots, they could have curtailed the way that they were talking because they're two accomplished actors. They would have been able to curtail what they were doing to better, not rely so heavily on the suspension of disbelief.
Well, and Eddie's an accomplished voice actor, so he should already have that skill. I mean, how many Shrek movies has he done?
Agreed. Agreed. However, in that specific scene, if you go back and watch it again, you can pick up on that same problem being there. It's just more so with Judge Reinhold, but that's a whole other thing. It's not a big that part's not necessarily. I'm not trying to go back and it's not a shit on Judge Sunday kind of thing.
Sure sounds like it. Jesus.
No, it was just my first stumbling block of like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck am I in for? But it really pulled up out of the nosedive for the most part. Like I said, the things that I didn't like outweighed the things that I liked, and it made me feel pretty shitty about liking some of the things that I liked. Because like can we let me skip forward a little bit. Can we address this fucking obnoxious plot hole? You're fucking Axel Foley. You've been doing this for how fucking long? And you're just gonna let your daughter fucking, we got this far, so you're probably clearly safe now, even though we've clearly identified this crooked ass cop fucking willing to kill everybody that he chooses to that fucking is gonna fuck up his fucking fun day. Like,
I said the same thing when George and I were watching it. I was like, is he going to just let his daughter walk away? She got what she needed, and you think she's safe to just, like, I said the exact same thing. I was like, we know who the bad guy is, and we know he wants to kill them. Why are you just going to let her go on her merry? And why does she think she's safe? She's still his kid. Why did she think she's safe?
I'm just saying the quiet part out loud. but yeah, that's what I'm sorry. I didn't have a chance to kind of balance myself out before we got started. but and I mean, like I said, it just, for me, a lot of it felt too much like going back to the well. Let's play to their nostalgia. Let's fucking fill this thing to the gills with fan service.
But didn't you expect that?
To a degree, I really did. But they could have at least, provided a bit more substance to make that pay off a lot more. Like, my biggest gripe will always be the introduction of that full theme song at the time that they did it. Like. Yeah. I not only did I predict what happened to the daughter, like before it even became a thing, like when they're going up to the damn fucking club and then they see old Bacon Baby and fucking it's like, oh wow, who's fucking surprised that you already called this 3 fucking scenes ago and now we find out, oh yeah, hey, not only am I the bad guy, I am not even going to try and hide the fact that I'm the bad guy.
You're taking this
And
a
then,
little too seriously, I think.
well, yeah, it's fucking, it's supposed to be, this is
Most of these
supposed to be a thing.
most of these movies, though, you don't find out. Like it,
A lot of the good ones you don't find
They
out
revealed the
until
bad guy real quick. That's for sure.
they really did.
You knew it
And
the first scene Kevin Bacon was in that it was him.
oh yeah, for sure. Because when the moment they walk out of the thing, he's like, I've never seen a cop wear $2,000 pair of shoes, $2,000 pair of shoes. It's like, oh yeah,
Well,
there's
I
your
knew it by the way
indicator.
he was talking in that office. Like just the
Also
way he was
valid.
when he said he's one of my guys, I was like, "Yep, it's him."
Hmm.
Yeah, they did not try to hide it.
See, that's my point. Like, if they would have played that, like at the very least, give us a red herring where like he
Taggart.
has.
They tried to make us think it was Taggart for a minute.
Well, I meant like the red herring as far as like to throw us off the scent of Kevin Bacon. Aside from, I mean, you're totally right about Taggart. That is 100% actual factual. But I'm talking like they could have had a circumstance where Taggart came up to Kevin Bacon and was talking to him about it. He's like, "Can you explain this?" And then he actually has a really reasonable explanation as to why he has these expensive items.
If
And
Taggart
then,
had been a part of it, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because I would
Oh,
never
I know.
discuss this movie again.
For sure,
I would burn
yeah.
to the ground.
For sure. I'm 100% with you on that. I was really like, I didn't fall for it. I was like, bullshit. Not a chance. No fucking shot. And also, since no fucking shot, can we also go back to that whole reliance on the suspension of disbelief to actually think that any fucking vehicle built past the 1980s could have actually been hooked up to a tow truck and pushed out the back of a fucking parking garage that fucking high up and not had catastrophic failure either on the vehicle that was being suspended or the connection to the tow truck, and fucking Eddie Murphy's daughter would have been dead in the first fucking 20 minutes of the movie. I'm just saying.
well,
But no, go ahead.
Casey.
I thought you said something.
No,
about
I mean, I had a thought, but it kind of sort of went in one ear and out the other. So
sorry, dude.
No,
But like,
you're fine. It's the lack of wonderment that is this movie, I guess. But before, and hopefully they don't kick in, but the nausea medicine kicks in and my co-host runs puking into the bathroom. Can we reference the fact that the cheap shot that was taken at the year 1994, please?
Yes, please. That's what I was just about to ask you. Was did you guys talk about that before I started watching? Because we had to pause the fucking movie because we were laughing so hard. And I'm telling you, I didn't want to spoil it, the chat, but I guarantee you that's why Dre didn't like this movie. It's like you were there in 1984 and then again in 1985 and then 1994. Not your best work, by the way. Boom, burned, roasted.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
At the end of Eddie Murphy has not pulled any punches for the last 30 years that he does not like Beverly Hills Cop 3. He felt like it was basically just him fulfilling his obligation to Paramount.
Yeah.
It in.
And well, I mean, I don't think it was John Landis's best directing. I don't think it was a great script. Eddie and Judge clearly phoned in their performances for that movie. And honest to God, my truthful, honest opinion is there was a huge piece of the puzzle that was missing in that movie that made the first two movies work. And that was Eddie, Judge, and Taggart. When you take Taggart out of that mix, it's not going to feel right.
Well, that actor
Right.
knew that, didn't he? It's like John Carpenter in Halloween 2. It's like, okay, if I have to do this, I'm going to do it, but it's going to fucking suck.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, that's
Although I don't
exactly
think
what
Halloween
it
2
feels like.
sucks, but you know what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't necessarily think Beverly Hills Cop 3 was the worst movie I've ever seen,
Oh no, not at all.
but at the same time, it could have been so much fucking better though too.
That prized award goes to Eyes Wide Shut for me.
You know, I've really always wondered what Kubrick's cut would have looked like.
Yeah, it probably would have been even crazier.
But you know, like I was to take you know the Eye of Sauron off of Judge Reinhold for a second.
Fucking
For
finally.
I was getting there. I told you. I mean, it the same situation kind of happened in an exchange of dialogue between Axel and his daughter. At some point, I don't remember which part. I don't remember which exact scene it was, but it felt it didn't it just like there was too many circumstances where you would be in it, like you would be watching scenes going from one scene to the next, and in one scene you would have fluid, you know, exchange of dialogue amongst accomplished actors. Okay, awesome, good job guys, let's go on to the next one. Next fucking scene, it's like, but father, you are not supposed to be doing this in LA. It's like, what the fuck just happened to the quality of this fucking thing? And then it comes back to a fucking good exchange of dialogue, and you're like, did I fucking fall into the back rooms? What's happening right now?
Well, maybe she was trying to.
I
Oh, sorry, Casey.
oh no, I was just gonna say really quick. I clearly this was not the most perfectly written movie of all time. The dialogue isn't great, but again, I still harken back to it's better than 98% of the dialogue that was delivered in the last movie.
Man, and go ahead, Amanda. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well,
No, you're good.
Casey, I was just going to say, I think the problem here is that you have issues comprehending the full spectrum of human emotion. And I think the point was that it was supposed to be awkward between them at times because she hasn't talked to him in years and hasn't seen him in forever. And yeah, maybe it was just shitty dialogue or performance,
Yeah.
but to me, it
It
was
kind
like,
of
I feel like
played
that's
into that,
supposed to be
though.
awkward.
I mean, I can see how that would have played into that, but I mean, I definitely wasn't lost to that nuance, but it was also, it didn't feel awkward in the sense of like awkward trying to talk to a father, because like one of the things that I laughed the hardest at personally was him making fun of her last name in the car.
Yeah, that
Like
was funny.
that shit was hilarious.
Oh,
And
the
then
whole
like,
And then the way he kept
yeah.
saying
Foley,
Foley.
Foley sounds like a strong name.
Yeah,
Foley.
Foley. Yeah, he's like, you know,
Hey,
Saunders.
Hey,
How do you
Saunders.
spell that? Saunders. I love that. It's great. But
My
like,
problem is every time I hear Foley, I think of catheters because
oh
it's medical
wow,
stuff, and
Yeah.
between medical stuff at home and too much Grey's Anatomy, I'm like, I hear Foley, I think catheters. So I was like, stop saying Foley.
that's understandable. I don't blame you
Like,
there either.
he said Foley probably 50 times in the fucking front seat of that damn car. Foley, 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 Foley.
Saunders.
but like, you know, yeah, between that whole reliance on fan service nostalgia, and then the shortcomings that were there for like the writing and some of the delivery on things, I will always go back and say, like, my second favorite exchange in that whole film is Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Eddie Murphy in the helicopter. Like that
Yeah.
that was prime. Like that was like, okay, this is a fucking Beverly Hills cop scene. This makes sense. I'm
They
on
had good
board.
chemistry.
They really did. And you could see it. But it just, you know, and Kevin Bacon always plays a really good bad guy. Like, it doesn't matter what he's in. If he's the bad guy, it's pretty all right. He really has that ability to put off the I don't give a fuck about other people vibe on him. He's good at that. Like X-Men First Class, I kind of had that same vibe minus the superpowers kind of bit. But like, you know, couple those things that I just previously discussed with those plot holes, like we were talking about with him letting his daughter go willy-nilly, when clearly anybody who has any kind of critical thinking or foresight capabilities would be like, oh, well, It looks like we're gonna have a final showdown between Axel Foley and this guy because he snagged his daughter, which then
It really
translates
wasn't.
over, which then translates over into the problem that I had with when they let the original theme shine in its glory.
Oh God,
It's
you're never
like,
gonna let this go.
what? I'm sorry. If they would have just done it, like, I get the remix. I thought it was a good idea for the attempt, but it was too far away from the original that all you're getting is those faint sounds like, what's happening here? Like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this to us? Like, what's happening right now? And then all of a sudden, it's this thing. It's like they could have easily got the same effect by dialing it back a little bit and then spreading it out and giving us a little bit more throughout. I mean, it's just like the helicopter scene would have been a perfect time for that thing to kind of come through just a little bit more. Not,
That's true. That's true.
it didn't have to. We didn't have to get Edge all the way to the very end with this giant culmination, like fucking Gandalf cresting the hill on the third fucking day in the dawn. Like, what the fuck is happening right now?
No, not pass.
Exactly.
Right? But no, like I said, that helicopter scene, primo, loved it. The front seat with dialogue exchange, great, awesome. I love how they reincorporated Paul Reiser and how they did it, because Paul Reiser's stuff was solid.
He's always solid.
Exactly. That's kind of what I would like. That was part of the reason why, because he's right out the gate. So you're thinking, oh, okay, well, okay, good start. We got solid.
That's the dynamic, though, from the original movies that was going to be missing, though, obviously, because they killed off Inspector Todd in part 3.
I think they had to, though.
Well, yeah, but you kind of sort of have to have that authority type figure in Detroit
Yeah,
that's kind of sort of looming over Axel at some point.
but I mean, it was still that flawless delivery because of the chemistry they already had and everything. And then that's just, like, it just makes it a little bit more abrasive when you come across those things where you're like, whoa, wait, hold on. Why isn't this equally as good? Like, and I understand that not everything's going to be perfect, but
Mhm.
when there's a partnership like Netflix and Eddie Murphy to, work on an intellectual property that has such, a fucking wide uh breadth fan base and breadth of nostalgic love, like, it just you know what, and I'll say the quiet part about this out loud too, Amanda, since I'm unable to fully understand spectrums of emotion. I might be slightly autistic. I'm not 100%. My girlfriend says it all the time, and she even commented on it while I was watching the movie. She was just like, Chancey, stop, just stop being so critical. Your tism's showing.
Do you ever enjoy anything? Can you try to enjoy life a little? Okay,
Yeah,
but
I mean, go ahead.
seriously though, this is not the first time Eddie Murphy has done something like this. I mean,
Right.
Coming to America, let's just put that out there.
I didn't really care. I didn't really enjoy that very much.
I didn't really. It was fine.
Yeah.
But my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think the only reason that he did this, besides probably a little bit of pressure, was that he's got a whole new set of stuff coming out for Donkey. Donkey's getting his own movie. And so I think he's just trying to put himself out there again in the spotlight and kind of get his name out there again, so that because how do you carry I don't see, this is off topic obviously, but I don't see how Donkey can carry a whole movie by himself. I don't understand how that's going to work, but I guess we'll find out because I'm sure I'll watch it. But
right. Yeah. And I'm with you on that one.
Well, if everybody remembers, literally like right before COVID, that was when he made this fucking deal with Netflix. Though, was like CBS had initially done the deal where they were going to do the TV series,
Mm-hmm.
and that tanked. So Eddie
I'm kind of
wrote,
glad. That would have been awful.
yeah,
I think.
because
I think it would. I don't think it would have been very good.
obviously, I mean, it didn't even. They filmed the pilot and it got pulled,
Ooh,
but
yeah.
um, he made he signed the deal for this movie. I think there was even fine print for possibly a sequel to this movie as well, but also as well for I think two stand-up comedy specials
Oh, nice. Okay.
that, uh, according to Dave Chappelle, probably aren't going to happen now because of COVID.
Oh, well. Okay. I mean, yeah. I guess that makes sense if it messes up the
Which,
schedule and pushes up the timeline on stuff. But yeah.
well, I mean, it makes sense though when you stop and look at it from the point that he hasn't done stand-up in how long,
Yeah.
and it needs to be something where he gets back out on the road and starts to work on his material and build and
Hmm.
build and build back to that point, because if you don't deliver on the same level that you delivered with Delirious and Raw,
Yeah.
Except
then
that he can't. His brand of comedy will not hold up now.
oh
Agreed.
god, no, not
There's just
at
no
all.
way.
And I believe, I don't remember if Amanda and I have had this conversation before or not, but that was one of my concerns. Was I really don't. I think he's going to get canceled so fast if he goes back out and does stand up.
Well, I,
I
I
don't.
don't think he'll do it the same. He's not Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's basically the only person in the world not scared of getting canceled. So I don't even think Eddie would try to deliver the same kind of humor. He'd have to
Well, just
switch it up.
because everybody thinks Dave Chappelle is freaking crazy as it is.
Yeah. I think if it, I like the reason that I think like what I just said and what kind of you were saying like with the coming to America and then this as a like a stepping stone or like a springboard for him to his next movies. If they had been really serious about this movie and I liked it. Like I'm not shitting on this movie. I enjoyed it. But if they had been actually serious about continuing this franchise or rebooting this franchise or making a legitimate next movie, it would have been a big studio release. It wouldn't have been a straight to Netflix. And I'm not saying that because straight to streaming movies are bad because they inherently they're not, but I just feel like this could have been they would have made a much bigger deal out of it if it wasn't just a let's do this for fun and it'll help,
No, I get what you're
get
saying,
me out there
and
again.
and that added context for that perspective actually kind of it doesn't really change as far as like my opinion. It almost makes me kind of feel worse about the situation because like there's one thing about promoing and cutting chops for like a new piece of material, whether it's stand-up comedy or music or movies or whatever. I think that it depreciates from you know the original stuff that you put out ahead of time as well as what could be coming next if you're trying to get yourself out there by burning down intellectual property that had legs, because like Coming to America had legs, and the Beverly Hills Cop movies, they had legs. It was stuff that's well loved even into this day.
Yeah.
But like it's just, and and most of the bravado that I have for the stuff that I don't like about the movie is really just for comedic effect. There was a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed about it, but like I said, the stuff that got my attention and kind of soured the taste in my mouth was a bit. It weighed a bit more than what I liked. It was a very middle of the road type of experience for me. It's just this thing had all the workings to be really good, no matter whether it was a studio production or Netflix production. It had what it needed to be really good. And then they just chose to go where they did. And it's just like, come on. Like, you can't, it's kind of like that there hopefully we'll be doing this in the future. That thing we were talking about. There's a movie that we had all that will, I don't know if Casey saw it yet or not, but I know Amanda and I have seen this movie, and it
Oh
had
yeah.
And it had great potential, and then it went all the way to the end of the fucking movie, and then everything's just like, oh shit, we got to figure something out. We haven't fucking done anything. Oh my god, we got to figure this the fuck out.
I'm
Same
totally
kind of thing.
But
Same.
But I think for this movie, isn't that? I mean, I don't know, Casey, you chime in too. I think maybe I'm feeling like Chancey's being too critical because what you just said is exactly what I expected out of this movie. I did not expect anything more than what we got. Like, was it a fantastic movie? No. Was it a terrible movie? No. It was like just kind of middle of the road, but I didn't have high expectations, so maybe that's why it didn't bum me out as much. It was pretty much what I expected it would be.
I guess I could have had some slightly higher expectations for it because of how much I enjoyed the others, but like,
well, and I know Casey did, but he liked it. You didn't.
but the thing is for me though is like the stuff that I didn't like about it is stuff that was unnecessary. Like it could have easily been avoided.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what actually not only caught my attention, but dug into me as much as it did. Just like those subtle things that didn't have to happen, but when they did happen, you're just like, oh, you really are just doing this, aren't you? Like, for fuck's sake, guys. But no, I mean, it. Like I said, there was good stuff there. It just.
I liked when he went to the hotel and he starts trying on his spiel, and then he's just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm too tired for this. Do you have a room?
Yeah, right.
It's like even he was tired of his own shit.
Right. It's just and I mean the whole like like they're going and doing their thing and they're working together and they're making a team, like what's happening, you can see what's going to happen from it. But it was done in such a fashion that you weren't really too, like you weren't focusing more on where you were going. You were watching the trip, not the destination.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To whereas there's a lot of things in that I'm being I'll even admit that there's probability that I'm being overcritical, but the things I'm being overcritical about don't
this was supposed to be a fun movie. It wasn't supposed to be like this big critical think piece. It's just,
And it didn't have to be a critical think piece. It just didn't have to be fucking I shouldn't say entirely. I almost fucked up there. It just didn't have to have such drop points where it like, it could have totally been a middle of the road movie. And they done those extra takes or had the people be there to fucking curtail their responses to actually make it sound like, legitimate.
That face has drop points.
I mean, it really does. I mean, but like, it's not my fault that my mother dropped me on my head when I was a kid. I can't help that. I can't help this bump. All right. It's always there. But, I mean, it's just, the things that are good are really good, but the things that are bad are really bad. If they would have taken the really bad and made it to where it wasn't quite that bad, it would have been a stellar, not even necessarily middle of the road movie, but like something to get us to where he's going. Like I wish that they would have been able to take what had happened with the second coming to America and then learn from that and then put it here with this and then go from here to where he's planning on going, because it almost looks like a raid and pillage party on intellectual property.
They kind of sort of did that with Coming to America too.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's just, it literally was like a raiding party on nostalgia and intellectual property. Like, Eddie Murphy's big enough. He doesn't need that. He just needs to have, well, I shouldn't put it all on Eddie Murphy, but like, if it's for him to do a thing that he's planning on doing and promoting that, then I'll put it to his feet and say these things. But like, with him being as big as he is, with all the other key players as big as they are, they don't need much to take it out of the things that I disliked and then move it into something that's a bit more, let's focus on the trip rather than the destination. Because when you see what they're doing as they're doing it, you're just it takes you out of the story that's trying to be told to you. That's the whole point of this thing. Is it's a story. You're supposed to be wrapped up in the story. You're supposed to take the ride and forget that you're on the ride. That might also be why I'm so critical of it, is that I expected to go on a fun-filled ride with a lot of laughs. Yeah, I'm crazy. I am. I'm absolutely batshit fucking certifiable. I read the paperwork that my psychologist sent to my work. All right, I'm fucking fucked up.
I think like you have to realize, especially the movie climate we're in right now, anything that's going to be a sequel slash reboot slash requel slash whatever,
Right.
there's enough franchises that have done it to this point that now everybody feels like they have to do it.
Yeah.
Nostalgia is going to be a big key. I mean, and sometimes it works really well. Like look at Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. We're not going to talk about ends, but they played really well into the nostalgia and the flashbacks and the Easter eggs. Like they did really, really well with that.
Listen, I'll agree with you on 2018 and half of the Halloween Kills portion, because fucking Evil Dies Tonight is
Oh,
always
that was
as
so fucking terrible. That was the worst
dude,
part.
for real, always.
Yeah.
That will forever drop me out of the story. That just
That's
proves my
fair.
point, where
That
you're
was
going
awful.
for a ride and then all of a sudden the rusty bottom falls out of your fucking old pickup truck and you're stuck in the fucking road holding the steering wheel like.
But that's what I'm trying to say is like around that time period, around 2016, 2018, like when this stuff really started happening and they saw people do it well, like with Blumhouse, and I'm just
Yeah.
using that as an example. I know there's
No,
plenty
yeah, I
others,
get
but
you.
like okay, we just rewatched this last night, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Like
Yeah.
you could almost say they went a little too hardcore at the nostalgia at the
Nostalgia.
end, but I actually thought it was perfect. I loved the little hints of the original music. I loved the cute little Easter eggs, and yes, we do
But
get a ghost Egon at the end, but
hey, I thought that was
I
awesome.
thought it was cool. And
Yeah.
so it's hit and miss with that, but I think anybody that goes into one of these meetings and says, we're going to reboot, we're going to do a fourth Beverly Hills Cop. Well, they know they've got to put those little Easter eggs and nostalgia in there because
Yeah.
collectively that seems to be what people want nowadays. Good, bad, or indifferent.
But to piggyback off of your example, that Ghostbusters Afterlife had appropriate delivery and continuity of what was going on, that it didn't shine the light on the nostalgia and the fanfare or the fan.
Well, and it's different than this because it was a new story with new characters. It wasn't bringing back one Ghostbuster and having him,
Right.
like what they basically did with this movie. It's bringing back
Yeah.
Axel and having him fight crime again. So it's a different dynamic. What?
3.
3 what?
Eddie, Judge, and Taggart.
Well, no, I know, but I was just saying as a generalization. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, you also forgot Paul Reiser.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, he was only in like freaking 3.5 minutes of the damn movie.
So is Judge Reinhold.
He has aged so well, by the way. Paul Reiser is just like,
for sure.
He's so handsome.
Even then, still, he hasn't played Jeffrey since 87 when Part 2 came out.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It's still like they dropped him into this movie, and it's still like he found the essence of what Jeffrey is, and it's like, okay, I 100% believe you that I haven't seen you in 35, almost 40 fucking years, but yet here you are, the same guy that you were when you wrecked the damn Ferrari in Part 2 and broke both your fucking legs.
Right.
Forgot about that.
Mario Andretti Friedman wrecked the damn Ferrari.
But no, I mean, like, And I will admit, yes, I'm going a little hard on it, but it's mostly for comedic effect. But like it, it was really disappointing in the fact that when you were talking about, like you were talking about with Ghostbusters Afterlife, that was, and you're right, it wasn't the same in the S, but there was still enough. If you want to go back to the theme, you got bits and pieces of the theme, but you got more than you got with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They diluted the remix for the Beverly Hills Cop theme so much so that like you kind of, okay, well, I'm kind of getting it here, I'm kind of getting it here, but they wouldn't give you more than 3 fucking notes to it.
Yeah, that
And then
was
it
kind
like
of a bummer. I will.
and
Admit.
then but yeah, and then like, you know, all the, like you said, like the stuff that had already been discussed about delivery and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like all those things, any one of those things on their own is a forgivable thing. But
Yeah.
when you start, you know, crashing the cars one in front of the other, the pileup gets noticeable. But like, having said all of that, though, it's still, like I said, that the helicopter scene between him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fucking prime. It was great. And then the
Hey.
dynamic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
You're good,
interrupt
man.
you.
You're good.
I actually have to bounce because Georgia's getting ready to FaceTime me from a house that we're looking at. Um, but thank you for letting me cut in and talk a lot. And me and Chancey get talking, and then Casey just has to sit there and listen to us babble.
Oh no,
Um, but real
Sorry,
it's
dude.
quick,
fine.
I'm just going to give my quick review. It's really easy and simple. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It made me laugh. Um, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, what do we want to watch tonight? Oh, let's watch Axel F again." But if it was on TV and I was just scrolling and there was nothing on, I'd leave it on and I'd watch it. So,
Not
I
your
give
finest
it,
hour.
huh?
Not your finest hour.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna give it 3.5 bananas in the tailpipe. I'm sad we didn't get one of those. That would have been the real nostalgia kick. I feel like that was a
Yeah,
real miss on their part. And at the end, could they have not at least had them go to the strip club? Like, that's where they're going, but they could have showed it. Like,
yeah.
come on.
I mean,
Always like, has he taken you to a strip club yet?
Right?
So anyway,
well,
those are my main complaints.
yeah. When he jumps in the back of the car and they have their moment, the three of them,
Yeah.
then yeah, it really should have been the whole. Don't let's go get a steak. No, you're not going to get a steak. You're going to the damn strip club.
Or they could have at
Right.
least played the song that was in the strip club in the first movie. What was it? Oh, it was a real popular 80s song. I can't remember, but like they could have just had them drive off with that song on, and if you know, you know. Like they
Right.
Yeah,
could have just,
wink, wink.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's good. I'm gonna have
Also,
to go look up that song now. But
also valid. Which,
yeah,
I mean, I get that.
I would have appreciated a little more of a hint to the strip club. That would have been great.
And
Well, I mean,
honestly, when Eddie jumped in the back of the car, that was when I got the most upset about all the other things that I had predicted. As far as like, I was like, wait a minute, he's still sneaking up on people and shit, but he
Yeah.
can't see all the other nonsense that was right in front of his face.
Oh, and I just remembered the song. It was that do you think I'm a nasty girl?
yeah,
I'll be fancy. Whole little nasty world. That was it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh
see,
my
if they just
god.
cued that song on and had them drive away, oh, chef's kiss. That
Oh,
would I
dude.
just write movies. All right. Well, I gotta go, guys. Thank you for letting me jump in. I'm glad I felt good enough to jump in, and I'm glad Chancey pushed my buttons enough that I was like, let me cue this up real quick.
I was honestly wondering when I started going in on Judge. I was like, I wonder if I'll summon the demon.
oh, you summoned the demon, all right.
I threw up all the demon, I think, so now it's just nice me again.
Mission accomplished. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, here we
Yeah.
go.
All right,
We'll,
I will.
we'll see next week when you're back for 3 Men and a Baby. If
Oh
you can
yeah,
summon the
and
demon.
Casey has homework. You've got to watch Late Night with the Devil so we can talk about it. Even if we don't
Yeah,
record about it, we just have to talk about it.
I think
Uh,
we can talk about it in the group chat. But I really think I think it'd be a great idea for us to do it because we could do it all in one sitting too, like a rapid fire roundtable of the thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
All
it'd be
right,
great.
kids.
Enjoy your FaceTime.
Thanks. I will pray we find a house we like.
Give everyone my best.
All right.
Hi,
Deuces.
Jeej.
Bye.
Pieces. All right. So now that we have
You.
all that out of the way,
Now you. Now you. Now you do the thing. Do
me,
your thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've really kind of covered all the negative points that I needed to cover because, I mean, like I said, what was there wasn't really too much in number, but it's just it had a lot of gravity to it.
yeah. No, and I get it. Like everything that I loved about this movie, like I said, an hour and 15 minutes ago, was the nostalgia all over the freaking place. I mean, you almost couldn't turn away without seeing some kind of reference to, especially part one. I mean, yeah, the soundtrack was a lot of remixed and modernization, but um, you still had enough of the elements of that to at least satisfy my hunger for it. Um, for the most part, the three of them back together again, even if the fact that they were only really together as a whole in that last scene
Yeah.
was something I knew I was missing in part three, but I didn't know how much I was missing it until they got the band back together again.
Right. Yep. Yep.
And like when they black out on her taking him back to the hospital and it pops up with a few days later across the screen and you're kind of sort of, you know, the camera's panning up on the car and you're like, "Oh, I know what we're getting now."
Right.
It's like, "Here we go." And then all of a sudden the camera's right around in their face. It's like, "Okay, Taggart's sitting there, Billy's sitting right next to him. You know good and hell well Axel's going to freaking jump out of nowhere and sneak in." And it's not even really sneaking because you can hear the damn car door open and it's like they're just sitting there, nerd, 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 nerd. And he jumps, and it's like they jump and it's like, are you really being that sneaky, dude?
Well, you got to think they're older now, so their hearing's probably not quite as good. Especially Rosewood's. Fucking, I mean, all them rounds he's probably shooting off on the weekend. He's probably not really hearing too much anymore at his old age.
Oh, and I have no idea just exactly how old um, Taggart really is.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not sure either.
I don't think he was that young
Right.
40 years
And
ago.
like, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't. He has to be in his 70s at least.
Yeah, which kind of sort of brings home the whole point about the wink wink joke about you haven't retired yet,
Right.
considering again another cheap shot at part three, but that was like the whole thing with he retired and moved to Arizona and he's off chasing golf balls in the desert.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So I'm not gonna go as low as Amanda for my rating, but I'm gonna give the movie 4 out of 5 crappy blue Chevy Novas. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I'll second the opinion. It's probably not something I'm gonna be like, oh, it's been 6 months since I've seen Axel F. I need to go back and watch it again. But if I start down the Beverly Hills Cop, binge watch rabbit hole, I gladly will watch part one, part two, and then Axel F. and skip part three. Just saying.
I mean, and also, you guys have kind of, because I started off with a specific rating that I was like, I'm sticking with this. But, you know, reflecting and thinking about it, I'm probably being too critical because of the fact that there are things on it that I really did enjoy. But I'm not going to kick my rating up too high. My initial rating was going to be 2.5 out of 5. But I think I'm going to kick it up to 3 because while I felt that it was a completely, middle of the road, 50% kind of a movie, it is
Yeah.
something that I would watch again in the context of like if I ever had to do the series for like a binge watch thing or something to that effect. But it's just like I think it could be just like I'm having a bit of fatigue to the studio revamp, remake, rating party on previous intellectual property. It's just they're like I don't mind doing it. It's just it has to be done in a very tasteful manner in order for it to be not only tasteful but undetected. Because I prefer the nostalgia hits that I don't recognize until later on, or after the scene's already over. You're like, that was a callback. Oh right, yeah.
Holy crap. Taggart is 76 years old.
I told you he was in the 70s. I was right. I got something right.
Go figure.
I'm just stoked that I got one thing right so far. Right?
So, yeah,
That's
no,
if they want to do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking to
you're fine.
myself, if they wanted to do an intellectual pop property raid, the next one that they should do is a remake of Trading Places.
I would be down for that. I mean, at the same time,
If they did it right,
it's such a great fucking movie though that
it really is.
if you
I mean,
do
they
it
don't have
wrong,
to. They don't have to trade places this time around or anything like that.
you could
But they could
really
like check
get
in,
somebody-
get a little like revenge callback from one of the descendants or relatives of, Randolph and Mortimer.
Mhm.
It could work. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it was just like I liked it, but it was just also really sad because I'm tired of, well, let's go keep going back to the well, and
Yeah.
you know a little bit of poison over any period of time is eventually going to kill you.
No, yeah. And at the same time, it's still like now that we've finally had this moment and the movie came out, I almost feel kind of like I have an emotional absence in my heart now because like this has been on the horizon for what the better part of I would say wager a guess at like 3 years. And it's
Yeah.
always been that question mark over its head, you know, will it be in the same ballpark as living up to the aspects of the franchise that I love, or will it just be part three all over again?
And I'll give it some flowers here because it's not part 3 all over again.
No, it
But
really is.
if part 3 is in the sub basement, this one's in the lobby. All right, like it's if you want my honest opinion, like if top floor is, in my opinion, I think top floor is number 2 because I just loved how that story arc with Rosewood came through on number 2. But I also grew up, not watching them in order, and then
Sure.
seeing it where, like, I grew up where my grandfather was a federal firearms, he had an FFL to go to gun shows and stuff like that. So like I remember seeing all these guns and stuff and watching, like I felt in a way a little bit like Billy Rosewood
Yeah.
because he had that, giddy, oh my God, these guns are so cool. And then he gets that little moment there. But for me, if top floor was going to be 1 or 2, then, this is kind of a definitely first floor lobby entry into the skyscraper of, Beverly Hills Cop, for a shitty
Yeah.
analogy.
So definitely, I would recommend if you like action comedies, checking out the movie. It it was enjoyable for me, and like Chancey said, he enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I would also advise, if you haven't seen it, watch it. If it's something like, if you liked the series,
Hmm.
absolutely watch it. But you know, just know
Don't
going into
expect
it,
them to reinvent the wheel either,
right?
because that's
For
not what
sure.
you're going to get. That this movie is definitely 100% a nostalgia grab.
I really wish that there would have been more of that dynamic between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Eddie Murphy. I really think that could have been really good
And
outside of what little we got.
that's one of those things that has me with a big question mark in the back of my brain right now as to why we may not have seen the last of this story.
Okay, valid.
I think they kind of sort of left it open to explore other avenues depending upon how well this movie does with the fans.
Yeah,
Where, because you have that whole, she made, or Jane made reference at the end of the movie to, you know, him, quote unquote, leaving Detroit. And, you've always said that how much they love you in Beverly Hills.
right.
Are you, is she literally sitting there trying to push him down the road of, leave Detroit, retire, move to Beverly Hills? And you know good and hell well if he moves to Beverly Hills, him and Taggart and Rosewood in the same town 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's going to be shenanigans and hijinks.
And
And
honestly, like,
now you add Joseph Gordon Levitt into the mix too.
yeah, like,
It could make for an interesting, at least one more movie to wrap it up and put one big bow on it.
Bo. And you know what? I agree, because like Taggart could just retire and be like, their friend who's trying to enjoy retirement, but they keep pulling him back in. And then Rosewood and Foley could partner up and do like a private eye thing. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt could, come to them, since he already has that rapport with them from this movie, and have, I need help on
Yeah.
this case. Things happen. Beverly Hills Cop shenanigans ensue. I have autistic arm flailing.
Well, and if they do that, that could definitely be their shot at doing something that's less of a nostalgia grab and
Yeah,
more of a straight up.
we know
It's
this
just gonna,
works. Let's go. Yeah, we know this works. Let's just make it good, or not good, because I don't
yeah.
like saying it like that, because there are things that are good about this movie. It's just that
Oh yeah,
I,
there is.
I'm a curmudgeon. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. I'm
But
sorry.
it's
I'm sorry to the dozens with their stale popcorn and watered down sodas. I am sorry. It's just that I'm a curmudgeon. Like, I'm a cinephile. I get really passionate about things, especially if I have a little bit of like to them, like Beverly Hills
yeah.
Cop. Like,
No, and it's a great freaking franchise. So, but with all of that said, holy crap, it
yeah, we did a
is.
pretty good job on this one.
Yeah, we did. We added like a whole another almost 45 minutes because I haven't even gotten into the conclusion yet.
Sorry, bro. I'll shut up so you can.
Oh no, 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 no! It's not. I mean, it was a very good discussion amongst all three of us because we brought up a lot of valid points and we brought up a lot of aspects of the movie that didn't necessarily work, but we also brought up aspects of the movie that, you know, realistically deserve to, be paid respect to as well. So
For sure.
I'm glad Amanda got to pop in and
That's kind of why I did it. I was like, if I go hard enough on Judge, I'll bet she'll come into this motherfucker.
well, I mean, because that would be like, I know it wouldn't happen, but if we were to do a Halloween episode and literally she couldn't be a part of the episode for some ungodly reason, if you sit there and just trash talk fucking Michael Myers or John Carpenter long enough,
She'd come in
all,
with the fury.
all, all of a sudden the little window will pop up at the bottom of the screen.
Whoop.
Boop, and then the instant message, because I won't notice it, will pop up. Let me in.
Yeah, dude.
I, I say
I
that and
don't
I
think
think
I.
about the old creepy guy from Poltergeist.
Right. I couldn't do that and keep a straight face though. Like
No, I mean obviously that. Yeah, I was just trying to come up with something
that's
funny
hilarious though. Yeah, that's
at the
good.
time.
No, you're good,
So,
man.
but obviously, as each week we do, thank you to the listeners and the dozens for being here each and every week. You guys are amazing. I can't do the show without you guys as much as I need Amanda and I need my Chance the Rapper and everybody without having listeners here each and every week to listen and comment along and give me feedback. It makes it that much less enjoyable. So thank you guys for being here. Chance, where can the listeners find you on the social medias?
Instagram and TikTok is the Red Eye Roundtable. Twitter is Red Eye Table. Um, every now and then you can catch me, popping up and giving my co-host the business on the bad taste in music and everything on the Maniacal Music Musings,
Maniacal
and
Music Musicians.
that's the one. And you know, I'm always around. I'm like, free floating in the ether. It's kind of like Candyman, except for when you say my name 5 times, I just show up and shit on your favorite movies.
As a, ma- as a matter of fact, Chancey will be back with us in just a matter of 3 weeks when next we convene for the next meeting of the Horror Squad, where we will be discussing Friday the 13th.
I'm pretty fucking excited about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that's probably my favorite, one of my two favorite movies in the whole entire franchise.
I hope someday we get to bring up Jason Takes Manhattan.
Is that a formal request?
No, not at this moment, but I'll put it on the shelf.
I digress. It probably will be done, and let's be honest, sooner rather than later, so we can just get
Rip
over it.
that band-aid out so you can get it out. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we've done Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Ooh, yeah, we did. Ooh, that made my stomach turn. I can't hear you, bro.
So, I don't remember where I was when I cut off, but
It was when you were talking about
oh,
Halloween 2,
and
Rob
how I
Zombie.
just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Ah, yes.
But coming up the next couple weeks on the show, next week, Hop Along Cassidy will be back with us, and she and I will be discussing the Tom Selleck, Steve Gutenberg, Ted Danson, Danson, amazing classic from around the same time that Beverly Hills Cop 2 came out. 3 Men and a Baby. The week after that, that's right, people. Literature Reapers will be back. We will be doing a special crossover episode with Shanna will be here for the movie portion of the show, as well as all three of us will be on Literature Reapers talking about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And then the week after that, Chancy Greif will be back with us for the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So, and as always, you can find us on the social medias. If um, you need help, you can always find me on the Facebook. I really need to start publishing all the different links for the different groups in the show notes. That way it's easier for people to find.
Valid.
So, but definitely thank you for being back and helping fill in for the co-host,
Oh
Chance the
yeah.
Rapper.
Always
You,
always a pleasure.
even if it's for not the best Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh no, I basically was kind of devil's advocates, straw manning the argument.
It's all good though. So we will see everybody else back next week, and we will see Chancey in 3 weeks as well. And at the end of the day, we hope everybody comes back for an evening at the movies. We'll see you guys next week.